Imagine being a Zamboni driver one night and an NHL hero the next. That's exactly what happened to David Ayres, a 42-year-old arena worker who went from maintaining the ice to defending it under the brightest lights. On February 22nd, 2020, the Carolina Hurricanes lost both their goalies in a single night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Ayres, the emergency backup, got the call of a lifetime. What followed was pure hockey chaos. Guts and glory rolled into one unforgettable night. This is the wild and true story of the man who cleaned the ice, then conquered it. If you love hockey miracles, hit like and subscribe for more content. Let's get started. Before he ever pulled on an NHL jersey, David Ayres was fighting a very different kind of battle. In 2004, the Whitby, Ontario native underwent a kidney transplant, donated by his mother, after his organs began to fail. The surgery saved his life.
That as much as I possibly can. Obviously, being able to donate a kidney to me and give me a second chance at life and be able to do what I wanted to and more. My mom is absolutely the best.
But at 27, it looked like it had ended his hockey career. Ayres had grown up as a goalie, following in the footsteps of his father and brother. But doctors told him the game was too demanding for his new reality. For years, he drifted through jobs and depression, unsure of what came next. Hockey felt like a ghost from another life. Then came a lifeline. A friend pushed him to get back around the rink, not as a player, but as a building operator. Ayres took a maintenance job at Toronto's Ricoh Coliseum, home of the AHL's Toronto Marlies. From there, he began filling in as a practice goalie, just for fun, just to feel the ice again. Slowly, the fire returned. 15 years after that transplant, Ayres was no longer chasing NHL dreams. He was maintaining NHL ice. What he didn't know was that his biggest night was still ahead, and it would take everything he'd ever learned just to survive it. Then came the night the unthinkable happened. February 22nd, 2020, a regular Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada. The Carolina Hurricanes were visiting Toronto to face the Maple Leafs, a playoff contending team on home ice. Midway through the game, things unraveled. Carolina starter James Reimer went down after a collision. Then, just minutes later, backup Peter Mrazek got crushed by Kyle Clifford on a race for a loose puck. Two goalies, both injured, gone. The Canes bench fell silent. That's when someone yelled, "Get Ayres!" In the stands, 42-year-old David Ayres checked his phone. He had a text from the Canes staff. "Get dressed. You're going in." The building operator and part-time Zamboni driver suddenly found himself walking down the tunnel, pulling on gear borrowed from the Marlies. His blue and white pads clashed with Carolina's red jersey. He was facing the team he'd practiced with for years. His own city, his own rink, his own Leafs emergency backup goalies. Barely play. They're there, just in case. But now, Ayres was about to live the case. "I could barely feel my legs," he admitted later. The first shot he faced came from John Tavares. It went in, the second one too, but he stayed calm. There were still 28 minutes left to play. And that's when everything changed. Down 4-3, with a 42-year-old building manager in net, the Hurricanes were supposed to fold. Instead, they doubled down. Captain Jordan Stahl yelled, "Let's do it for Dave!" The bench rallied around the man who hadn't played pro hockey in decades. Ayres, shaking off the nerves, stopped Austin Matthews late in the second period, his first clean, confident save. The crowd buzzed. Something was shifting. In the third, Carolina took over. Warren Foegele scored early to give the Canes breathing room. From there, they locked down defensively, allowing only 7 shots the entire period. Ayres stopped them all. Every wrister, every rebound, every power play rush. His best save came on Zach Hyman in the slot, smothering the puck under his blocker. When the horn sounded, the scoreboard read 6-3. David Ayres, 42 years and 194 days old, had just made NHL history. He became the oldest goalie ever to win his debut, 8 saves, 28 minutes and 41 seconds of ice time. One unforgettable night. Even Leafs players like Frederik Andersen tapped his pads in respect. Ayres said, "You could tell? They were happy for me." But the night wasn't over, not even close. Back in the Hurricanes' locker room, chaos turned into celebration. The players drenched Ayres in water bottles, blasting Fat Joe's "Make It Rain" as Rod Brind'Amour handed him the game puck. The 42-year-old who came from the stands was now the first star of the game. Fans in Toronto, half stunned, half cheering, gave him a standing ovation. It was a moment so pure even the losing team couldn't hate it. Ayres earned $500 for the night, his jersey, and a lifetime memory. Carolina immediately printed shirts with his name and number, promising proceeds to a kidney foundation, tying back to the surgery that once ended his dreams. He appeared on talk shows, met the North Carolina governor, and became a global headline. Overnight, the Zamboni goalie was a household name for Ayres. It was surreal. "I never thought I'd play hockey again," he told reporters. To go from that to winning an NHL game, it's unbelievable. It wasn't just a win, it was redemption. The man who once resurfaced ice now stood atop it, proof that second chances can be louder than first dreams. Still, life after viral fame came with a new kind of challenge. In the days that followed, Hollywood came calling. 27 production companies reached out, pitching movies about his life. Everyone wanted the Zamboni goalie story. Ayres listened to them all, but it was James Corden who got through. Corden's team at Fullwell 73 helped him land a deal with Disney, and soon Ayres had an agent, a contract, and the promise of a film. But fame, like a slapshot, can sting. As the months went on, Ayres realized the studio's vision didn't match his. Disney wanted a comedy. He wanted truth. His story wasn't about laughs. It was about grit, illness, and fighting back from nothing. He said, "It's not about hockey. It's about finding strength when you're fragile." His Hollywood dream soured. He'd beaten the odds on the ice, but in the boardroom, he felt sidelined again. The movie deal fizzled, and the pandemic shut down hockey. Ayres found work selling refrigeration equipment over Zoom, fitting for a man who knows ice better than anyone. But deep down, he still believed his story deserved to be told, his way, and that's where the next chapter began. Ayres didn't give up. He never has. When Disney's option expired, he teamed up with indie writer Jim Tamburino to reshape the film. Together, they wrote draft after draft, crafting a version that captured the real heart of his journey: resilience, humility, and the quiet power of persistence. The film starts with that night in 2020, flashes back to his darkest days, then returns to the ice for his triumph. But it doesn't end there. In the final scene, Ayres works as a train conductor, a nod to his late father, a man who once gave up his job to stay close to family today. Ayres still plays in a senior league, still gives motivational talks, and still carries that same underdog spirit. He's proof that heroes don't always wear capes, or even custom gear. Sometimes they wear borrowed pads, skate out of the stands, and change hockey history for good. As Ayres himself says, "It's never about the hockey. It's about believing it'll work out, no matter how dark it gets, no matter how long it takes." And that belief, that's what makes David Ayres more than a goalie. It makes him a legend. So that was the unbelievable journey of David Ayres, the man who went from driving the Zamboni to driving his team to victory. Now think, if you were in Ayres' skates, would you have stepped onto that ice? And do you think any other emergency backup could ever pull off what Ayres did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you've made it this far, please consider pressing that like and subscribe button for more hockey legends coming your way every single week. Thanks for watching.